There are a few things you should know before you pack your bags and go to the Chilean city of Santiago. As soon as you get off the plane, you'll see how tourist unfriendly the Chilean government can be. As soon as I landed, I was penetrated without consent by the Chilean government. I walked by this thing and it turned red, so they forced you to take a mandatory PCR COVID test where they pierce your nostril. This was not disclosed to me up front. And every time you use your credit card, there are like 3 different out-of-town fees. It adds up to like a 20% tax just for being a tourist. You end up paying New York City prices for South America here. But by far the most annoying thing is that the Chilean government requires you to register your cell phone. So there's a 30-day grace period for tourists, but they keep bumping you off the network despite me paying for the most expensive cell phone and plan in existence. I could barely use my phone at all. But with that out of the way, this was one of the more interesting Chiles I've been to. It's basically a city of contrast. Here's the filthy river right below this gleaming skyscraper, which I believe is the tallest structure in South America. So let's start the tour here before I anger too many local Chileans who hit the dislike button and bury these videos. This attraction's called Sky Costanera. Sorry, I'm Italian. You access it through this mall, which has this gigantic screen of this raved out Lady of Justice who looks high on something for some reason. I don't know if that's a tribute to Chilean culture around here. The mall has some interestingly named restaurants like Take a Walk and the Creep Cafe all my ex-girlfriends refer me to. Alright, so you pay like $15 US and take an elevator up here. It's similar to the World Trade Center in New York City. They have a sign here and they got a bar and a few other things you can get drinks at. They also have free Wi-Fi, which was helpful since my phone didn't work at all. So the views are pretty nice. The camera doesn't do it justice. You really gotta come here to see for yourself. It's also an open air concept. I'm not really sure what they do when it rains. I didn't see any covers or anything, but they must do something as I didn't notice too much water damage in this place. The surrounding area is very nice and safe. It's like the commercial district. I wish I stayed here instead of the center of town, which is more dangerous, especially at night. I would only feel safe going out here during the nighttime. But if you insist on seeing nightlife like I did, you have to walk north of the river. The water looks less brown at dusk, and it's also complemented by this wonderful graffiti all over the place. There's a lot in Chile. I was really surprised. Anyway, you walk up here to this place called Bella Vista. There are a lot of fun bars and restaurants you can visit after, say, maybe 8, 9 p.m. The real Chileans go out after midnight. I wouldn't suggest doing that as a tourist. Another thing is a lot of these restaurants only had QR code menus, and if you don't have any cell phone reception and they don't provide free Wi-Fi, it's impossible to see the menu, so I had to flat out leave a few places. Thankfully, this place had their beer list on the chalkboard and was pretty friendly. It's called Mike's. You can go check it out. I would definitely be careful going out alone. A few of these places looked a little bit seedy, even for me. And you're not going to find a localized American safe space like TGI Fridays. They tried and failed here. It looks like it didn't go very well with the Chilean locals, who are very hardworking people. Like this person is working 2 jobs at once as both an entertainer and traffic enforcer. This driver didn't look too pleased. As far as sightseeing goes, most of the touristy spots are going to be closer to the Centro part of town, which I decided to stay in because I thought it would be convenient. What they don't tell you is that it's kind of a shady spot to stay. Here's my hotel, and I swear I didn't know it was above 3 separate strip clubs. I really didn't go out at night. I did not feel safe. As evinced here by the local graffiti, the criminals write when no one's watching. This basically means they don't like police. There's even graffiti on this historical fountain and statue. It's pretty sad to see that from the artist's perspective. But thankfully, I found one spot in Santiago called Santa Lucia Hill with no graffiti, and it made this whole trip worth it. This was an old military outpost. I sure hope that couple has life insurance standing right in front of a cannon. And before that, I believe it was home to churches and a place of worship here. So you'll see a combination of military fortresses and churches all over this hill. While there is some graffiti here, at least they try to clean up after it. This whole hill is surrounded by a gate and there are guarded entry points. You need to sign your name in to enter here. But hey, at least it's free for tourists. I even saw some locals doing a fitness class here on the lawn. Oh, and you can bring your dog all the way up here to this castle. This pooch must have had quite a hike this morning. And you can see down there how many different levels there are of this hill. It took me at least an hour to just explore half of this place. I was surprised I didn't have to sign a waiver because there were a few sketchy pathways where one wrong step could have spelled certain doom. So like I said, Santiago is a real city of contrasts. You've got graffiti all over the place on one side of the road. On the other side of the road is a priceless national landmark. You've got artists and tourists enjoying a great song while some guy is passed out on the sidewalk with his shirt off. And you've got old men playing chess, improving their minds as their kids go swimming in this public fountain. So while I don't regret visiting Santiago, Chile, I would not come back here until they fix that cell phone problem and things get a little bit more affordable for tourists. But overall, this was a good stop, and you may want to check it out if you've never been to Santiago, Chile. Make sure to like and subscribe for more.